President General of the Nigerian Football and Other Sports Supporters Club, Dr. Rafiu Ladipo. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you and good evening.
Good evening, welcome. Also, another doctor in the building, Dr. George Uchendu. Thank you for being here.
Always good to be here.
Always good to be here. Well, of course, the FIFA Women's World Cup is generating a lot of attention. The group stages are done and dusted. 16 teams have progressed to the next round. Let's have a confirmation of the round of 16 fixtures, which interestingly includes 3 African nations, 3 African teams that progressed with the teams. There you have a confirmation of the round of 16. Nigeria, of course, a 9-time African women's champion. South Africa, the current defending champions. And Morocco, the African runners-up, also in the round of 16. You would say, Dr. Ladipo, Africa has put its best foot forward this time around.
Yes, indeed, they have done. And I want to congratulate the 3 African teams that have got into this round of 16. I am happy when the game started. Some bookmakers said maybe none of the African teams will get to the round of 16. But unfortunately, we have proven them wrong. So I am happy.
So far.
Let me tell you.
The tournament is still ongoing. All right, we'll still talk about African teams and all they're doing, but let's quickly go to Brisbane, Australia, where our correspondent Janefrances Nweze is standing by. Of course, Jane has been covering the tournament since the opening day, courtesy of our partnership with Stanbic IBTC Pensions Manager. Jane, thank you for joining us. What's the situation in Brisbane? Are the girls getting ready for this big showdown on Monday? We all know that Nigeria and England have a lot of history between them, but are they overwhelmed with what is expected of them come Monday?
Well, I think a lot of people, the Super Falcons started this tournament with a lot of disrespect from many Nigerians who didn't have confidence in, what the team can do. And this is not blaming the people, but of course with their performance in AFCON, it was expected that there would be, doubts about what the team can do at the world stage, and also their opponents. Because of the rankings, Nigeria was ranked 40th. So what they have done so far, it has inspired a lot of confidence in the girls going into this next round. However, they understand, the task ahead of them. So for 2 days after that game, most of the training pitches were busy because South Korea and Germany needed to train with the training pitches. So now immense Nigeria, had more time to do recovery sessions and less strenuous, things for the girls to kind of recover better in preparation for the actual trainings for the match against England, which started yesterday. And so that continued today also. They had another training session behind closed doors here in Brisbane.
All right, Jane, you've monitored this team's preparation for the tournament right from here in Nigeria down to Australia. What is your assessment of how ready they are for England? Are you sensing any nerves, or you expect the girls to come out fighting like they've done in previous matches?
Speaking with Chiamaka Dozie, before the match against Republic of Ireland, so she talked about how what makes her game special or stand out is the fact that she's a very calm player. So when people expect her to be tensed, or when there's a lot of tension, it doesn't get to her, so she's quite calm. And also, a couple of the players, Rashida Tajibade also says that, she's a different player from what she was in 2015. Now, in summary, what I'm trying to say is that the girls have grown, and with that also their gameplay have also grown. So they have accepted a lot of responsibilities, knowing that it's England is the champions of Europe, but then they are also a strong team in Africa, and if they can continue to do the things that they are doing right and better. You have Alozie saying that going into the next round, there wouldn't be any chance, of missing opportunities. So you get a chance, you get to utilize it. There wouldn't be any complacency for the next round. And I think this resounds with most of the players. So they realize that it's much more serious business right now in the knockout stages.
All right, Jane, are there any injury concerns? Are there any players who's going to be missing out in that crucial round of 16 game based on the team news from what you have as of today?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, we don't have any injury concern right currently in the team. So all the players are quite available for the match coming up.
Okay. Jane, stand by a bit. Let's come back to the studio and take the thoughts of our panelists. Dr. Rafiu Ladipo, how would you rate the Falcons so far at this tournament?
Well, they've done well. And not only myself, many Nigerians are happy with them. They have played the matches and they have made us proud. I can see them now in the round of 16. When we started, I gave them minimally that they will get to the quarterfinal. I said it. And they have not disappointed. I can assure you these girls, with the same spirit and the determination they are taking there, I can see them surpassing even the quarterfinal stage. But the only thing they have to do is that they should not lose concentration.
Okay.
They should not be complacent. Because England can prove to be tough, but I can see the Falcons going far, and they will beat England.
George Uchendu, the Falcons have played 3 games. They've drawn 2. They've won 1. Yeah. They've only scored 3 goals so far in the tournament. Yeah. Maybe so far so good, but it's not really a championship winning form for you, would you say?
Yeah, not exactly. We would want them to score more goals because goals win matches. And so even if we're in a situation where we end up drawing the English women's side by 0-0, we're going to penalty shootout and then anything can happen. So one thing you would give the team is the sturdiness in the defense. Randy Waldrum has been very, very consistent with his defense, and the defense have been very, very strong, and we've seen that over the last 3 games. One thing that they need to now do, which we've seen them not do over the last few games, is converting the chances, because they get chances, but it is the conversion that is the problem. And so in this knockout stage where it is business, it is who gets the goal that qualifies to the next round. They must convert their chances. They will get chances against England.
I mean, we saw some glaring chances missed by Caesar at the game against the Republic of Ireland.
Exactly.
You don't want to miss those chances against England.
You don't want to miss those chances. The English the English side, very, very prolific. So you want to make sure that when you get the chances, you take them.
Of course, when you get the chances, you take them. Let's look at the head-to-head between Nigeria and England. It's not the first time both sides are meeting at this level. Nigeria have met England 3 times, Nigeria winning twice and England winning once. But of course, from what has happened then and now, England has really grown in wings to become the new European champions. There you have the head-to-head. Nigeria with a 3-0 win over the English ladies the last time they met. You don't expect this form to continue, would you?
No, as you said, there's a lot that has happened over the last time. I think it was in the 90s where we got our last victory against England, and now the English side they've matured, they've grown, the quality of talent that they have now is profound. But the Nigerian side, one thing you cannot take away is the quality of talent. We saw against Australia, Asisat Oshoala came from the bench. So imagine that kind of quality where we can put Oshoala on the bench and she comes in to make...
And yet we were still in the game.
Exactly, we're still in the game. So if the English side, if they are very mindful, if they know what is good for them, you don't want to underestimate the Nigerians. One of the best places to be in is a position where you have nothing to lose. And right now, the Nigerian side will be coming out with the little pressure. The English side are the one that have...
They know that $60,000 is guaranteed. That's some good money. Let's go to Australia. Janefrances is still standing by for us from Australia. Jane, the celebration is not limited to Nigeria alone. 2 other African countries are also partying. Tell us, what's the mood of all the other African countries in Australia and New Zealand? What are the feelers you're having from there?
Well, of course, it's quite great, and luckily we have someone from South Africa who is here, and he will be sharing that. But we saw the CAF president finally, or rather CAF releasing a statement of the CAF president congratulating the 3 countries. It's a historic theme for the continent. It's something to project how much the game, the women football is developing in Africa. Despite not much attention still being given across board. The leagues not yet professionalized as we would or we should have them. Lesser investments across board. Also comparing the monies that the women get for playing in the Women's Champions League and all that on the continent. But these ladies have made a case for themselves, so it's quite great and brings back that argument once again. Nigeria, Africa, 54 nation members of FIFA with just 4 slots, and it was increased this year. Last tournament rather, it was 3 teams that qualified, and UEFA 55 nation with 10 spots. So it's like, I think it's time to give more inclusions for Africa, and these ladies, their performance have made that case. However, we don't have very, very easy opponents in the round of 16, and we're hoping that, there could be more stories by Monday. South Africa play on Sunday and Nigeria play on Monday. So we're hoping that we won't all be sent home after those games.
All right, let's hear from Dube, who is a South African journalist who's joining us on the show. Hello and welcome to the program, Dube. Let's first of all get your reaction to the Banyana's progress to the knockout stages of the FIFA Women's World Cup. It's the second time of asking for the South African women who are the African champion. What's the reaction in South Africa at the moment?
Look, there's so much excitement in South Africa. This is the first time that we actually win a game.
Okay, we're trying to connect better with you, Dube. But of course, Kosizi Dube is a South African sport writer, is joining us to take the reaction across Africa. Let's have the graphics of the African team so far at the World Cup. Nigeria finished as Group B runners-up, and of course, same for South Africa, who got a win and a draw to finish ahead of Italy in Group G, in that one. And Morocco. So far, Morocco are the most outstanding African team. They've won 2 games. Yeah. They lost one, although the one they lost Candalos in 6-0 to Germany, who are eventually out of the tournament. And Zambia, who unfortunately finished third in their group, still went home with their heads high because they won their last game against Costa Rica by 3-1. Dr. Rafiu, so far, Africa has stood up to be counted.
I said it before, all of us must be proud that the Africans have done so well. And even though a lot of people did not give us any chance, but we've told them that Africa's football, as far as football, women's football is concerned, we have arrived. And nobody can take us for granted. Let's go there and do the job. There's nobody around the world now that will say women's football in Africa is not growing. Look at South Africa. They are the current champions of Africa. And some people were telling me before their last match that they will crash out. But they're now in the round of 16.
You must really give credit to South Africa because they lost their first game 2-1 to Spain. They got a 2-2 draw against Argentina, and now they won their last game against Italy to qualify.
Yes.
All right, let's go to Jane. I don't know if Kosizi Dube is back. Maybe the network is better. Dube, if you can hear me. Okay, let's see if we can have Dube. Dube, how ready is the Banyana Queens for the task ahead in the round of 16? Okay, all right. Okay, Jane, let me talk to you then while we try to reach Dube, who was struggling with the network on his end. Jane, so far so good. 3 African teams there. Are you looking at perhaps an African semi-finalist at this year's World Cup? Without being biased towards Nigeria. If there's any African team that will progress beyond the round of 16, which of the teams are you tipping?
All right. So, well, these are questions that you have to, follow logically. I think that the Super Falcons have actually defied logic and where they're coming from, the groups that they have exhibited so far in this tournament. If there's going to be an African country that will advance to this semi-final of the World Cup, it lies between Nigeria and South Africa for 2 reasons. Now, the players in the Nigerian team have experience across board. Most of them play, in much more developed leagues. They face tougher competitions, and they kind of have a better understanding. Having been a good number of them being in the World Cup in 2019. When you talk about the lives of Asisa Dushola, Desire Paradisie, Rashida Ajibade, Uche Nakano, Chiamaka Dozie, the goalkeeper. So these players were all in the 2019 World Cup, and also the captain, although she's not getting so much time, and Francisco Dega. For South Africa,
I mean, as a 40-year-old player, you wouldn't get as much playing time as, the younger ones. But Jane, we have to leave it at that. We have to leave it at that. Thank you so much for the good work you're doing for us in Australia. Keep your eyes on the ground. We'll be coming to you anytime for more updates. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
All right, let's wrap up the Women's World Cup conversation by bringing you the round of 16 fixtures again, in case you haven't heard. The round of 16 will start on Sunday, so you could look forward to the games. But Nigeria's Super Falcons will be in action against England 8:30 a.m. on Monday. Here are the round of 16 fixtures. Switzerland up against Spain. Japan, who, of course, blew through their group with maximum points, are up against 1995 winners Norway. The Netherlands, who are, of course, European champions in 2017, are up against South Africa. Sweden are up against USA. England are up against Nigeria. That's, again, we'll be giving you all the updates around. Australia, the co-host, up against Denmark. France against Morocco. That promises to be interesting as well. And Colombia up against Jamaica, who are also one of the surprise teams in the round of 16.
Let's remember that
The FIFA Women's World Cup report was supported by Stanbic IBTC, the official insurance partner of the Super Falcons. The FIFA Women's World Cup report was supported by Stanbic IBTC, the official insurance partner of the Super Falcons.